Welcome to the Bleedin Blue podcast, episode 2. It is Thursday. Good news, Alex. Oh, by the way, we're joined by Alex, not Dave. Say hi, Alex.
Hey everybody.
He's Alex. I'm Phil. And good news today, it's Thursday. Dodgers have an off day, which means they can't lose and ruin our day. Pretty much.
The way it's going, that's the best we could hope for.
I mean, if that's like the point we're at, that off day, then pathetic, pretty much.
It's pretty pathetic actually.
Yeah, so let's head to the recaps. Basically,
Yep.
most of these will be losses. I think one win, probably. Yeah, one win.
Maybe
And that
one
was
win, yeah.
that
That's it.
game. And if you take out the stats of that win, well, we'll see that later. Fine. So Thursday, the Dodgers lost 2-1 against the Brewers. Eric Lauer got the win. Trevor Bauer got the loss. You see what I did there? Lauer versus Bauer.
You had the wrong
And-
hour getting the win over there.
Yeah, Bauer. And Joshua Hader with the save. He's pretty good.
He's not bad.
Yeah, well, interesting about this game, Bauer was the only pitcher for the Dodgers. Only pitched 8 innings because they were the away team, so only pitched 8 innings. Gave up 4 hits, 2 runs, 6 Ks. Not great. Threw 113 pitches, so guess the longevity is good, I suppose.
Yeah, it was
Um,
not too bad, but you obviously want to get the win. So
Right, and as good as Hader is, Dodgers' lone run was off him, but he got the save the next day. And what was really bad about this game, quite annoying, is the Dodgers had 9 hits, and they only converted that to 1 run. Is convert the right word? Convert's not the right word.
I think it is.
Convert.
I don't know, but I mean I know that was their main problem losing games last year is they would always have a lot of hits and just leave a million guys on base, and that was what in the playoffs they didn't do that, and that was what helped them win. So
Well, it's
sad that
bleeding
they're
into
starting to
this
do it
year.
again. Yes, it is. It's definitely bleeding into this
Blew
year.
into this year. Yeah, and they left 9 guys on base, also. So, which isn't a ton for them this year, which is it's not very good at all. Yeah, not much to say about that game. Pretty much, Brewers outplayed them. Yeah. Yeah. So heading to Friday's game, the Brewers beat the Dodgers 3-1. Freddie Peralta got the win. Edwin Iralta, just kidding. Edwin Uceda got the loss. Yep. Edwin Uceda, they called him up. I believe this was his big league debut. And unless he pitched sometime 2 years ago, but I don't think so. I really don't.
I have no recollection of him ever pitching.
He's a cool name.
Dodgers. He's a
Cool
cool
names
name,
are a
that's
theme
true.
on this podcast.
Yes,
If this is your
about
first
all
time
that's
listening.
that's pretty much about all that's cool about the Dodgers these days. So
Edwin Uceda. And the bullpen actually wasn't bad this game. The only guys that gave up runs were Uceda and Trinan. And they had a bunch of other guys. I believe Gonzalez pitched. I think Jansen pitched. I think Santana pitched. I think maybe Jimmy Nelson. I think those were the guys that pitched. And Uceda was like, 2 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 Ks. Not great. 2 runs in 2 innings.
yeah, I mean I guess that's what you expect from a guy like that just getting called up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big league debut. But
Yeah,
we're going to see that happen to the Brewers guy on Sunday.
yeah.
We were in school. We were in school all of these games, actually. Yeah, then shout out to Freddie Peralta, which is also a great name. It's just a normal name, but it's a good name. Like, that's a very good sounding name.
Yes, I'm happy for him for that win.
6 innings pitched, 1 hit. Ooh, 1 hit. 1 run, 7 Ks. Solid game. Not much to
Yep.
say about that game either. Moving on. Okay. Was this the Angel Hernandez game? He umped one of these games also. I don't know. Whatever. This game, the Dodgers lost in 11 innings, and that was. Well, at this point, we're getting used to it. I don't know why I wrote
Yeah.
Brewers 6, Padres 5, but the Padres didn't lose 6-5 to the Brewers. It was really the Dodgers. Yeah, they lost in extras. Kenley blew a lead. They blew a 5-3 lead in the 11th inning.
Yep, seems to be a theme these days.
Yeah, Angel Perdomo with the win. And Alex Vesia with the loss. This was probably also. Well, no, they got him from the Marlins.
Yeah, I think they got him from the Marlins for, I think, Dylan Floro in the offseason.
Dylan Fleur. Uh-huh. Well, he gave up 4 runs. Not very good. and that was in the 10th, 10th, 9th. I don't know. They
think it
blew
was
the
the
lead.
ninth, if I remember.
Yeah, this is the 9th. They blew the lead. Betts hit well. Clap for Betts hitting well. Yay. 2 for 4 with a home run. Yeah. Go Mookie. Not much to say about this game either besides the
Yes.
bullpen. This is a recurring theme, and they
Yeah.
suck.
I
Not much
mean,
to say about it.
at this point, their biggest problem is they got no depth. I mean, all their guys are out. I mean, their main guys they got Knable's out, Joe Kelly, Brewstar, and that's pretty much three guys who could pitch night in, night out, and they're without them, they're great calling up random guys, and it's really hurting them in these extra inning games.
Speaking of Joe Kelly, by the way, we're recording this on Thursday for all you who are listening. By the way, we got 7 listeners in the first week. Clap for that. Yeah. Um, yeah, so for those of you who are listening, Joe Kelly is just taken off the injured list, so that will help, hopefully. Well, you never know. You
Yeah,
don't really know Joe Kelly because he's sort of wild at most time. But he's the
yeah,
type of pitcher where he's wild and then, but somehow is effective. Like when I was in Little League once, I was up, the pitcher threw ball one behind me. Then next pitch, straight down the middle. So I was like, okay. Next pitch, threw another ball behind me. Next pitch was a strike. I was like, I don't know what he's gonna throw. The next ball was right like at my head, ducked. So 3-2. Like I don't know what he's gonna throw. Then I believe he struck me out on the next pitch.
yeah.
Yay! Great story.
Let's hope Joe Kelly comes back and does not have the same start as he did last year.
And let's hope
Um,
he still has good face making skills.
yes,
They can't see that, but I made a face. Um, Sort of
I think
similar to
at
how I
this
winked last episode when I said Jesse Winker.
I think at
If
this
you
point it's
haven't
just a
listened to that
natural
episode,
reaction.
check it out. You know, Spotify. I think we're gonna be on Apple Podcasts now. Oh, they're giving me a rough time, but I think I figured it out. And I think we're on Amazon Prime podcast. We're pending Pandora, so that should be coming soon. All 7 of you who listened.
Yep,
Um,
getting it on everywhere,
yeah,
wherever you get your podcasts.
except for Google Podcasts, we're not on there. We got issues with them. Okay. Okay, moving on. Sunday's game. That was fun. Sure it was.
Yep.
We got Matt Beatty-san. According to my calculations, if
Yes.
I hit this ball over the fence, we will score 4 runs. Good calculations there. The Dodgers
Yes.
blew out the Brewers 16-4. Um, Julio Urias was very good. He's very good every other start. If you haven't noticed by now this year. Like 1 run, 1 start, 4 runs the next start, 0 runs, 1 start, like 1 hit, like 5 runs the next start. Whatever. I guess take
Yep.
it.
Take what you can
Gave up
get at
one
this
run in
point.
this one. And Bettinger with the loss, not Bellinger. You heard that wrong. It's Bettinger. And
I looked at the score sheet on that one and I was like, why is Cody Bellinger on the Bruins getting a loss? I was very confused, but
poor
I,
guy,
I read it again. I was like, it's Bettinger. That makes sense.
yeah,
But
poor guy, it was his debut. And he gave up 2 grand slams in the first 2 innings. It's
yeah,
the first time ever that a pitcher's given up 2 grand slams in their debut.
like on the bright side, he could only go up from there. So
Yeah, his ERA at
yeah,
this point is like, what did I see it was? It's like 20 point something, I think. Because he pitched 2, 3 innings. I don't remember. Some of that. I
I know
don't
it's
know.
it's it's similar to I remember last in the playoffs, the game that they had the 11-run first inning, and the pitcher I
Yes.
forgot who started.
It
I think
was not Ian Anderson, was it? No, it
it
was,
was not Ian Anderson. It was
who was it? I don't
I can't remember
remember.
who started, but I
I'm gonna
remember
look it up.
when they took him out. I'm pretty sure his ERA was around 81. He
Let's
pitched
check
around
out
two
points.
thirds of an inning and allowed like 8 runs, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. Who pitched? Let's see. Dodgers game 3. Well, you could keep on going with this one while I look this up.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember my friend sent me a picture on that one, and it was his ERA was like 81.5 or something like that. So Bettinger at 20 is still a pretty solid ERA compared to that. I mean, it's only a quarter of his ERA.
It was. Just give me a second. It was Kyle Wright.
Yes, it was Kyle Wright. That's who it was.
Even in his profile pic, he looks like he's crying.
Yes. I actually feel bad for him.
I do feel bad. Yeah, rookie. He had a really good second half
Yes.
of the Mickey Mouse season, and then he gave up an 11 spot in
Yep.
the first. Um, yeah. Did you mention Pollock and Beatty? Well, I
We
was looking that
we
up.
did mention Beatty. We did not mention Pollock.
Yeah,
I
Pollock,
thought Beatty was good that game. Pollock was even better with 8 RBIs and 2 home runs. So great
including
game for him
one
too.
of the grand slams.
Yes, he had one of the
Basically, to
grand
get eight
slams.
RBIs, you pretty
Yeah, it's
much
kind. I
need to
mean,
hit a grand slam.
I guess you
Not
could go
really.
without it. I mean, if you have five hits or something, it's not that
Yeah,
hard.
five
But
hits and get lucky with guys on base. Well, with the
yeah,
Dodgers up to this point on Sunday, they were hitting like 5, 6. We called it in our last podcast, by the way. We predicted Beatty and Pollock; those guys were heating up. Um, Pretty much like 5, 6, 7, 8 in their lineup has been executing. That was the word before. Um, they've been executing and not really 1, 2, 3, and 4.
yeah, it's really been like that all season.
Yeah,
I mean,
but good news. Max Muncy is heating up. He'll be part of our highs and lows segment as a
yes,
high, not a low. Yeah, what else happened in this game? Beatty at 7 RBIs. I think, what was it? I think that was the second time in Dodger history where two players hit 7 or more RBIs. I think the first one was Adrian Beltre and Sean Green. Sean Green also hit 4 home runs in a game. So,
yes,
um, yeah, so they had 18 team hits this game. And guess who didn't have a hit?
it's Mookie Betts.
Mookie Betts.
It's sad
Probably could have guessed
because
that.
yes,
And oh, one other guy didn't get a hit. This is even more obvious. Edwin Rios.
yes.
Under
I,
100 batting average. That's below the Mendoza line and the Mendoza
It's
line.
yes. If you cut the Mendoza line in half, he's still below it.
If you cut the Mendoza line in half, you have Mend.
Maybe if Oza depends on which half you
Well,
cut.
Betts could get the Mend, and Rios could get the Oza. Except
Yes,
Betts is over the Mendoza line. He's hitting like 239 or something like that. I don't
for
know.
him, for him, you might as well be hitting 080 because I mean, your
That's what
star
it
player
feels
can't
like,
be hitting 230 and
especially in the leadoff
expect to be
spot.
good. Yeah.
Right, he's getting the most at bats, and he's
Yes.
getting the most outs.
Yeah.
And
If they want any sort
basically,
of
since
winning
his
streak, he's got to
injury,
heat up.
yeah, since his injury, he's really been bad. Remember, he got hurt. He was hitting well
Yeah.
before that. The whole team was hitting well before that, except for Rios. And then, yeah, whatever. He's not good now, but he'll figure it
Yeah.
out. They had a team whopping team, like that word, 1.149 team OPS.
Yeah. Also back to bets. We because I think because of last season with the 60 game season, we feel like we overreacted to everything because like each game was worth like I think 2 or 3 times the amount of a regular game. But now it's I mean we're still really early into the season, so I mean if Bets could get it going in around now, then I mean he could still have a great season. I mean, it's only like 20, 30 games in really, so
Yeah.
he's still over 100 games to go.
And by the way, the Dodgers scored 16 runs on Sunday without Max Muncy or Cody Bellinger with 2 L's and not 2 T's in the lineup.
Yes.
And Mookie Betts and Corey Seager combined to go 1 for 6 that game. So strong showing from 1 and 2, and I guess it worked.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
then Dave Roberts still isn't really starting Matt Beatty anymore,
yeah.
and which is ridiculous because he's
I mean,
probably
you'd
hitting their
think
best on the team right
when
now.
he's your best hitter right now, you got to start whoever you get. I mean,
Yeah, well, Chris Taylor last week was hitting well, like heating up well, and sort of took a decline this week. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
I feel
let's
like
move
he's a
on.
very on and off hitter, anyways. So
Yeah,
he'll get back on.
yeah, he gets his streaks and whatever. So yeah, Monday's game. That was a good game.
Yes, we
It
didn't
was
lose.
postponed. Yeah, as I like to coin it, rain, rain, go away, so the Dodgers can lose another game. It doesn't
That's
really rhyme, but
still true.
it sort of like sums up the season right now.
Yes, pretty much. Even
Saw on Twitter, um, some guy was like, "Remember like opening day, Cody Bellinger had a 2-run home run, but it wasn't actually a home run." And we were like, "Oh ha ha ha! What if it's an omen
yes,
for the season?"
it's sad if you think about it. Bellinger still doesn't have a home run in the season. I mean, he only played like 6 games or something, but still, that's just the way it's gone for the Dodgers this year.
Yep. So Tuesday was a doubleheader. CC Sabathia likes doubleheaders, by the way.
So I think
7 inning doubleheaders.
we got both our heads chopped off on this one.
Both our heads.
Yes.
Two Cubs came. Well, one Cub came and ate
Mhm.
them.
Yes.
That's weird, but okay. Yeah, the Cubs won 7-1 game one. There isn't much to say about this game either, except Keibert Ruiz season debut home run.
Yes. I feel like
Last
every single time he debuts, he gets a home
yeah,
run. It should
last year
like
he debuted against the
his
Angels, right?
debut. He had I think it was against the Angels, and he had a home run on his first at bat.
No, I think he had a double his first at his home
Oh no,
home run his
yes,
second
you're
at
right.
bat.
You're right.
I think he might
It
have
was
got another hit
yeah,
also. I think he was like 3 for 5 or something like that.
yeah,
Yay, Keibert. Except next at bat
yeah.
in the extra innings game that they lost to the Cubs, which on Wednesday. No, Wednesday. No, I think also Tuesday, game two. I think he also had a at bat. He struck out. Um, yeah, Santana was roughed up again, 2 runs.
Yeah.
Surprise. And
That's a
Kershaw,
big surprise right there. Who would
bigger
ever
surprise,
thought?
Kershaw. Kershaw's really good, and he doesn't really get recognition for that, I feel like, anymore in the MLB, because people are like, oh, he's old, he's washed up. But he's still a very productive pitcher, and the Cubs were productive against him this game. Like, he pitched 1 inning, got through an inning. Positive. Look on the bright side. The glass is pretty empty, actually. And that's the bright side.
Testament to how good Kershaw is and how underrated he is these days. I mean, when was the last time you can remember in a regular season game at least that something like this happened? I mean, he pretty much doesn't have blow up games. I mean, even if he allows 3-4 runs, he still has a solid game where he goes 6-7 innings. So it's I mean, it's obviously sad to see it here, but I can't remember the last time he had a game like this.
Yeah, well, also, like, even bigger surprise, Dave Roberts didn't leave him in for more innings. Dave Roberts likes doing that, and Kershaw was only able to give up 4 runs in 1 inning because he wasn't able to give up 4 runs the next inning because he didn't let him pitch. He had 2 walks in the first inning, 39 pitches, 26 of them were strikes. So, I guess they're just hitting it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not a terrible ratio, 26-13. I guess that's pretty bad actually. Yeah, that's
I mean,
pretty bad.
Kershaw can't really blow you away. So I mean, if his pitches are a little off, you're gonna
You're
hit
either
them a
hitting
lot.
them or it's a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So that was game one, 7-1. Hendricks got the win. Yeah, that guy. Whatever. Game two, Cubs won 4-3. This was an extra innings game in 9 innings.
This is like one of my favorite things about baseball. Just all these random things that you would never expect to happen. I mean, you have a extra innings game that ends in 9 innings. It's just fun.
Yeah,
But pretty cool.
pretty much. So
Yes.
Justin Steele got the win. For some reason, I don't know if I'm crazy for this. Like, I haven't seen Justin Steele. I wasn't watching this game, and I feel like Justin Steele has glasses, like really nerdy glasses.
Imagine it's not
That wasn't so
fits with the
baseball,
name.
but I don't know. Yeah, and guess who got the loss? He gets the loss every time in extras. By the way, Garrett
Yeah,
Clevenger
I
or
feel
Clevenger? It's Clevenger, I think.
think it's Clevenger, but it's
The
spelled
Dodgers are
Clevenger.
kings of mispronouncing names that should be pronounced
Yes,
the other way, like noisy.
but I mean it. I mean, obviously he gets the loss and he allows runs and whatever. But I mean, again, it's not really his fault. I mean, you get their bullpens. I mean, their bullpen's pretty hurt right now. And when you have an extra inning game and you already pitch Gonzalez and Jansen, who are your two main guys, then I mean, you're gonna have to bring in these guys to pitch in very high leverage situations. So, I mean, you got to
Yeah,
expect that they're gonna do this.
yeah. Well, Jansen, the main guy, isn't. Well, one of the main guys is not good.
Yes,
But
but
everybody knows you
I
pronounce his
mean,
name Kenley Janisian
yes. I mean,
because
at
he's on the
least
Dodgers and they mispronounce names.
sometimes he pitches well. You could at
Yeah,
least
well,
hope he pitches well.
yeah.
But some of these guys, you just trying to figure out who the heck they even are. I mean,
It's basically the AAA team. We'll get to that
yeah,
later.
pretty much.
Um, yeah. So Bauer pitched this game. He was eh. I guess that's a good way to describe it, right? Like eh. Four, 4 1/3 innings pitched. 4 hits. Eh. 1 run. Pretty good. 7 Ks, 4 walks. Eh.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have an game, do it now during this slump, so at least everybody could get going at the same time.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
I guess it's productive game with the only giving up
Yeah, I
one
mean, only
run.
that one run,
Let
so
the bullpen do the dirty work,
yeah,
losing the game. Yeah, so Victor Gonzalez pitched really well. He's a highlight for this team so far. This bullpen, pretty much the only highlight. Jansen's ERA is like very low twos, like under 2.1, I think, but it doesn't really translate to his production on the field. Not really,
yeah,
because he's the closer. If he gives up a run, then they're screwed, because
exactly.
he's coming in all these tight games.
And I mean, we're gonna give Kenley grief no matter what, as long as he keeps allowing runners, even if he gets a save, we're just gonna give him grief no matter what. I mean, it's just so nerve wracking to watch, especially because he pitches so slow. It's just hard to watch him.
That's why that game against the Mariners, when he threw like a bajillion miles per hour,
Yes, that was
that
that
was
was
like
that was
we
very
saw we
encouraging
saw
actually.
light ahead of the tunnel, and
Yes, and
then
then it was promptly extinguished.
the tunnel collapsed
Yeah, the whole tunnel just blew up
with
actually.
Kenley Jansen under it.
Yes,
Um,
and the whole Dodgers nation was under that tunnel actually.
yeah, and so this is part of the Muncie heating up train. Yeah, go Muncie, woo woo.
Yeah,
Muncie had a home run that game two. Turner also had a home run. Turner's been their only steady production this year, offensively, pretty much. Which you would think, like, obviously you think Turner would, because he's always been a consistent hitter. Not early in the year, but by May, really, he's always been heating up. And you would think Seager would be the other really
yeah, you
consistent
would
guy.
think. I mean, he pretty much had an
And
MVP
that's
season last week,
right.
last year, and I mean,
And the first week.
yeah, the first week
um,
too, and he was playing so well in the spring training. You would expect that he was going to come back same way as last year, but
yeah.
just got to hopefully find his stride like Mookie.
Well, it's part
Mhm.
of our commandments on this podcast, Bleedin' Blue, that we don't do Mitch White slander.
Yes, I happen to love Mitch White. I mean,
But
he
he has a good ERA, but that also doesn't translate. He's given up runs. Again, he gave up 2 runs on Tuesday 2.0.
yes, I mean
And
it's sad because I mean I've watched him play and I like the way he pitches, but I mean he's just had so many injuries. It's really hurt him.
I think if he grows out his hair longer,
Yeah,
it
I
might
mean,
help. She got advice from May.
I think that would help everyone actually to just grow out their hair.
Yeah.
Big fan of growing out hair.
Yeah.
Guess
Fine, moving
guess
on.
that's I guess that's where my hockey genes
Yeah.
they
Alex is a
they
pretty big
dictate that.
hockey fan for all you new listeners and not new listeners because he's new. And yeah,
Yep, go Kings go.
yeah.
Well,
Go Kings, go.
I guess they had a good season for their standards, but didn't
But
make the
back to
playoffs. But they
baseball.
still could.
I'm steering this conversation back. Wednesday. Alec Mills pitched for the Cubs. He got the win. He actually didn't start the game. Who started, like Azule, something like that? He was really good actually. He had like
Yeah, he was pretty
7
good.
strikeouts through 3 innings.
Yeah.
The Dodgers lost 6-5, by the way. You probably know that. In 11 innings. Alec Mills got the win in extras. He gave up a couple runs in extras. He didn't even pitch well, but Alec Mills threw a no-hitter last year. And it's cool
Yes.
that he threw a no-hitter last year because he doesn't really throw over 90 miles per hour. He throws
Yeah,
like on average, I think a 65 mile per hour curveball.
yeah. I mean, it's crazy how they stopped. You would expect that there would be no more like pitchers like that. Who only pitch 90, whatever. But and there's still a few of them, and
Hey,
there was
he
one.
threw a
There was fun to
no-hitter.
watch.
He threw a no-hitter.
Yeah.
And Garrett Clevenger got the loss. That's 3 times in a row. We're setting a standard over here.
Yeah.
Uh,
You think Dave Roberts would realize that he keeps on getting lost, and maybe you should not pitch him. But I guess, I mean, who else are you going to pitch? So
all right. Bueller pitched. He was pretty good. 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 runs, 8 Ks. Yeah, that's better than pretty good, okay, I would say.
yeah, he's a solid game.
Yeah, Jansen had it's 1 walk, 2 walk, 3 walks, and you blow the save. It's the Jansen game, yeah. 3 walks.
Pretty much.
And the Dodgers had 3 opportunities to save out. Well, no, not to save out the game, but it was 1 of 3 blown saves. Treinen didn't have an opportunity to save the game, but he blew a save situation because he was pitching the 8th. And Clevenger, yeah, the Dodgers were up when he came in. And obviously, Anthony Rizzo had the walk-off. If Freddie Freeman's name is Frederick in Anthony Rizzo language, well, in real life also.
Yeah,
What's
I
Anthony
guess
Rizzo's name?
Is it? I would have to say Andrick.
Andrick. Andrick Rizzo.
Andrick Rizzo.
Oh,
Risotto, maybe.
Risotto. Rizzo man.
Yes.
Andrew
I,
Rizzo.
I think that, I mean, that would Anthony Rizzo would actually be a solid pickup for the Dodgers bullpen. He's
Yeah.
got a zero. Did he allow a run?
He's
I don't know,
he
but
he could be a Freddie Freeman specialist.
yes, yeah,
They needed that in the playoffs. Freddie Freeman killed them that series.
yes.
Muncy
Freddie
hit a
Freeman
home
always
run.
kills him. I feel like.
Yeah, he's a really good player. Muncy hit
Yeah,
a
I
home
love
run.
Freddie Freeman.
It's his fifth home run. And yeah, listen. At a certain point, we could talk about the Dodgers' struggles, like in extra innings. But at a certain point, it's just like so much. What are you supposed to say about it? It's the same story over
Yeah,
and over and over. Like they come in with
but
the lead, they get the lead, they execute in extra innings. That game is being that word is being used too much. I think we could stop.
yes,
Okay, and then just the bullpen blows up. Yeah,
but if you have to say one thing about all these losses, I mean, you have lost 2-1, 3-1, 6-5, 4-3, 6-5. I mean, most of these losses are one-run losses, and they're playing horribly.
yeah. I
So it's
believe
just
I saw the Dodgers. I think 1-7 in one-run games.
yeah. I mean, it just goes to show you that it's not a problem of their skill or anything. It's so like, I mean, it's just them executing and they're just executing it.
Yeah,
It's
for
just them
sure.
executing in high leverage. So at least we know they can do it. So
Obsessed with high leverage stats. Um,
yeah,
yeah, last year also I think they were really good in one-run games. I don't know what their record was, but and fun fact, not so fun fact, the Dodgers have been 1 out away from winning 3 games this week, and they've lost all of them.
yep.
Not so fun
Close it
fact.
out.
And Rios, this is better than him hitting. At least he's not getting out. He was sent down, not sent down. He was put on the list, IL, shoulder inflammation. I guess he can't strike out now.
Yep.
Poor Edwin.
Hopefully gets better, a little rest, and comes back and at least bats over the half Mendoza line.
Right. The
That'll be
the
an
Oza line.
improvement. Oza line, yeah.
Yeah, and the Dodgers also, they're not playing well, but they've been sort of unlucky. In there's a stat called the Pythagorean win-loss record. I was telling you about this earlier, and
Yeah.
they're 19-12. Actually, I think 20-12 in the Pythagorean win-loss record. Basically, it was what's the word? Not invented. It was mathematized by Bill James. If you don't know, he's Moneyball. Bill James. He like totally reshaped the way we look at statistics nowadays. Um, it's calculated. This Pythagorean win-loss record is calculated as runs scored to the power of 1.83. I think Bill James' version was to the power of 2 squared, but divided.
Yeah.
So it's runs scored to this power divided by runs scored to the power plus runs allowed. You're the one that's good with math. I don't know why that makes sense. I guess
Yeah, I have no idea why that makes sense.
it
I
seems
don't
so
even
simple
care
and
to know.
like he
I
thought of
feel
it.
like I can never even come close to even understanding why that would would be would be a thing, but I trust Bill James, so
Yeah. Well,
you know,
2012, I think they'd be in first place, right? I don't know what's the Giants' record. I'm
I think they'd
not
be in
sure.
first place, yeah. At
Let's check
least
out the
right there.
yeah. Hold on, let me just check out the Giants' record quickly. Giants. Well, what else is there? Yeah, that was all the games this week. Yay, Dodgers go
Yeah.
1-6. That was 1-6, 1-7
106,
maybe.
6, yeah.
Well, they're playing the Angels now. So Shohei Ohtani hit his 10th home run. Shohei Ohtani
Yeah.
was on our Around Baseball segment last week, but he's not just gonna make it on every week. He's not allowed. Too bad.
I
I
mean,
don't let. I'm the boss. I don't let. The
if you put
Giants are 18-13. Yeah,
yeah,
so the
18
Dodgers
and
would
13,
be.
so the Dodgers would be in first place.
Yeah, the Dodgers would be in
They
first place.
got the runs at the right time.
Yeah,
Back to Shohei, I feel like if you're gonna put Shohei on every week, you gotta put Mike Trout on every week because I mean with everything that Shohei is doing, Mike Trout is better. I mean he's like the best player in baseball, and
Mike
we're not
Trout's
even
leading
talking
the
about him.
MLB in average.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah,
hitting home runs. He's hitting like he usually does, and it's just no one even talks about it because he's just so good. I mean that's what we expect.
I'm getting nauseous. We're talking about the Angels. Yeah. Okay, so now we're at the highs and lows. Fun segment for this week because there's not so many highs. Not at all. Yeah.
I guess we'll start with the lows.
What's on the list?
Get get rid of the lows first, so we could at least end off on a high. But I
One high.
mean, the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry.
the Dodgers, the last, I mean, just pretty much everything's pretty much been a low. I mean, they're not winning games. They're not hitting. They're not pitching very great. The starters, the bullpen has been really bad. I mean, it's just pretty much everybody.
Well, I saw a crazy stat. It's mind blowing, actually. I love stats. In the last 15 days, the Dodgers are pretty bad. There you
That's,
have it.
I mean,
Mind
that's.
blowing stat. And
I think Bill James devised that formula. That
no, that was my formula.
if oh, you're sure? I'm pretty sure that his formula says if your record is 1-6 in the last week, then you're not playing well. Was that one of his?
That was probably. No, that's probably Newton's formula.
I don't
That's
know.
probably his statistic. Or maybe
I don't know.
Einstein's.
Hopefully no one came up with that. I think I could. Maybe I actually invented a formula for
Ooh,
once. But
I'm the one that realized it. This is dumb.
we,
Okay. Dustin
we
May.
both realized it at the same
Dustin
time.
May. Why are we talking
We
about
called.
such light stuff when Dustin May? He might have to get a haircut.
Yes,
No,
that would.
no, he won't. He'll lose his strength.
No.
No.
Yes, yes. Never get a
Yeah,
haircut,
so
Dustin.
he had the the dreaded UCL injury, for also better known as the Tommy John injury, or UCL tears.
Yeah, and
I could go into
it's
the
horrible to see.
I could go into the orthopedics of it, but I'm gonna bore you with like the external
Yeah.
rotation and then snaps or whatever. Yeah, so yeah, you could watch the pitch. It was a pitch. He yelled like ah. He sounded like a dog dying, and
I mean, probably felt like a dog dying too.
yeah,
So
he immediately waved over the catchers and one catcher, and Dave Roberts with his little old grandpa jog, and he left. And that was that.
yeah,
He's gonna
and
have Tommy John surgery. He's gonna be out uh, for sure the rest of the season, including postseason, and projected probably also half of next year, which is a really
I
long
mean
time.
it's
That's like
a really long
that's
time, and
crazy.
I mean, he's been just dominant this
Yeah,
year. Like he's just been
dominant,
blowing
dominant.
everybody away.
Yeah.
And I mean, Dodgers really need a pitcher like that right now. But
Oh, here was the
you never know.
stat.
Maybe
In one-run games, they're 4-9, and they're 1-5 in extras. 1-5. No, 1-6 now. I don't know. I don't know if it calculated that loss on Wednesday. Either way, that's not good. Really not
yeah.
good.
I mean, you can't have a good record when you're 1-5 in extras this early into the season.
And
So
part of it was also their hitting, like
so,
against the Brewers. Like they scored 1 run twice that series. Minus that game, they scored 16 runs. The Dodgers' OPS in the last 8 days, I think, was 626, which would put them at 27th in the league. If you include that Brewers game, in which they scored 16 runs, then I think they would be 17th on the list. So still not great, but 10 spots ahead. That's like whoa. And and also
yeah.
the Cubs. I don't know if this is because they played the Dodgers or they had a good week before. I wasn't really following the Cubs before. They they had in the last 8 days the best OPS in the MLB. There you have it.
Well, playing the Dodgers these days will definitely help your OPS.
Yeah,
So
for sure. And what else is on the low list? Oh, this is a great one. In the last 7 days, the Dodgers pitching staff, whether bullpen or not bullpen, whatever, um, they're what's the stat over here? The Dodgers pitching from the seventh inning and on. Oh, not just from the seventh, not just in the seventh inning. Also, later, um, they're tied for 22nd in the league in runs given up. So solid showing on the Dodgers.
yeah.
Also, and
So what surprises me is that they're not lower down on these stats. Like I'm saying, their OPS is 17th in the last week and plus. I mean, they're and the pitching in that last third of the game is 22nd. I mean, they're playing so bad we feel like, but you have to remember how their team is just so good that even when they play bad, they can't be the worst.
also the bar is so high. So if you
Yeah, I mean the
go
bar that
under,
we're giving them a short leash because
right?
of how good their team is, but it's just crazy to see that they're playing this bad and they're still like not even on the bottom five in MLB. Just
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
So let's get to Corey Seager's fielding. Corey Seager's my second favorite Dodger after Kershaw, and Trevor Bauer's my favorite MLB player. But I don't know. I don't really count him as a Dodger right now. I mean, he's on the Dodgers. Yeah, he's on the Dodgers. I'm happy, but I was a big Trevor Bauer fan before he's on the Dodgers. Either way,
Yeah,
Corey
I feel
Seager.
like he's not a full time Dodger yet. Like, he's got to got to get a little more time under his belt before
Part of our
we
commandments of this podcast, yes, Kenley Jansen slander. Yes, Dave Roberts slander.
only Kenley Jensen slander actually.
And Dave Roberts.
Unless he has a good game, then we could pause
No
the
Mitch
Kenley
White
Jensen
slander.
slander.
And no Corey Seager slander. Or Kershaw. Oh, Kershaw slander, sometimes.
If he has a bad game, we could,
Yeah.
yes.
So basically,
Sometimes
Corey Seager's
he does have
fielding
bad.
is really, 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 really bad right now. And also against the Cubs, he made a bad play. He doesn't really get to those backhand ground balls at shortstop, which you sort of need to get to if you're a shortstop. And he got there. He made a nice play. Tried throwing out a guy at second, and yeah, straight into the outfield. And I believe they scored a run on that, or the Cubs, or extended inning, or whatever, and they scored runs, tied the game 3-3 on Wednesday. And pretty much in all advanced fielding metrics, basically on how many runs you save for your team, or how many runs you give up that you cause your team to give up, Corey Seager is really bad in them. He's
Yeah.
55th, like amongst infielders or something, like really bad. Like you got Francisco Lindor, who's ranked pretty high and whatever, like in the positives of all these metrics, and Corey Seager's like all in the negatives in these metrics. Not good.
And if you're not an advanced metrics person, I mean, if you just look at the way he plays and the way let's say a guy like Lindor plays, I mean, Seager just doesn't. You don't feel like he's jumping at balls. He's getting like he's reading plays well. I mean, it's just like you don't see him like being explosive like you see a lot of the other shortstops.
Right. It's basically if it's hit to
So
him, he makes the play. Sometimes.
yeah, I mean, he's not really getting anywhere.
He has a 972 fielding percentage. There's a bunch of guys really that have a perfect fielding percentage. So 972 is actually up there. It's not terrible, but in the advanced metrics, he's really hurting the Dodgers. He's hurting them like five runs this year or something. It's crazy. So yeah, let's glass is pretty empty, which is a high.
Yeah.
So let's get to the highs. We got Victor Gonzalez. I think he should be the main high. Honestly, he's been lights out. There's no other way to put it. He has like a 1.7 ERA now. Pretty much this whole week, he hasn't given up any runs, and he was a little shaky earlier in this year. And he gave him a couple runs and a couple outings.
We were giving him a little flack earlier, but
he's figured it out.
He was
for now
great last year, and I mean, he's showing that it's not a fluke, and he's actually a great reliever, and hopefully he stays that way for a while.
Yeah, and I think like hands down, he's the best reliever right now on their team.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really have many. They don't really have many guys to go up against him. But
yeah.
I mean,
I made a list of their bullpen pitchers, they're basically from the AAA.
Especially last year. They just called up their whole AAA squad.
Hear me out. It's Mitch White. Fine, no slander. Garrett Clevenger. He seems the same name as Mike Clevenger. He's on the Padres, so we don't like him, and he's lost 3 games for them. We got Kickham.
Yes, you would wish he'd kick him, but he's gotten kicked more than he's kicked him. So.
He kicked. And we got Edwin Uceda. Cool name, no slander. Dennis Santana.
Cool name, but
Dennis Santana is the one guy in the bullpen that gets heated up, except for Graterol, but he's hurt. We got Vesia. Also, Jimmy Nelson, he's on the list. He had a really good spring training, as we said last week on the episode. You should check it out.
Yeah.
But
he's an interesting pitcher to watch. At least he's got like really interesting stuff.
Well, the Dodgers basically did with him what they did to Corey Knebel. He was in the Brewers system, I think, or on the Brewers, and he had a pretty good year. Then he hurt his arm, I think, Tommy John surgery also, and the Dodgers picked him up. It was a steal, really, and he's young.
Yes, and I mean with a beard like that, I mean you got to give the guy a chance. I mean he's got a elite beard.
Yeah, elite beard, but most of all, I think when they're healthy, they'll be fine. They'll get Graterol back. They'll get Kelly back.
Yeah.
Jansen. Whatever. I mean, they're going to get Gonsolin back soon, I think, which will help for the 5th starter spot. David Price is hurt. They're hurt. I'm not worried. I'm really not.
You got to think some of these guys that they've called up, like Vesia and Uceda and all these guys, I mean, if you give them a little more opportunities, they should cool down a little bit. And,
yeah, for sure.
Start pitching functionally. I mean, when you pitch Clevenger 3 times in a week, and I mean, he's going to go on a bad streak, and especially if he's not used to being in that league. But if maybe if you give him a few more opportunities, especially in lower leverage situations, he should start pitching normally, I think.
Yeah, for
So you
sure.
never know. We'll see.
And we mentioned Justin Turner and Muncy. They're hitting well. Turner's like consistent. We got Matt Beatty. Um, Dave Roberts seems insistent on not starting him though. So go Dave. You're
Yeah,
doing
I
good,
mean,
Dave. You're doing your job good.
yeah.
Fine. We ready for the
At
next
this point,
segment?
we expect it, I guess.
Yeah, good
Dave
Dave.
Roberts.
Fine. Let's head on. Next segment. We got around baseball. Woo woo. Yeah, around baseball. We like baseball. So number one on our list, we got to give a shout out to the Yankee fans. And I'm really not a Yankee guy, as you know. I really don't like the Yankees.
Yes.
But they're playing the
got-
Astros, or they were playing the Astros.
Yep.
So shout out to Yankee fans against the Astros, and it's just a sign of what's gonna come when the Astros come to Dodger Stadium. Um, inflatable trash can was confiscated at Yankee
Yes.
Stadium. All
Whoever
other
brought
stuff.
that, I have mad respect for them.
You hear like I heard a video of this Yankee fan, his heavy New York accent, just saying like this is what you get for cheating, and it's like I can't replicate it. It was like a whole New York accent. I was cracking up. Yeah, so clap for Yankee fans.
The question is when all this stuff is going to stop. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this goes on for 5-7 years. That every single time the Astros go to Yankee Stadium or Dodger Stadium, they just get food and trash cans.
And then
I mean, it's
fault also to the Astros.
Fans are really pissed about it.
Yeah, for sure, and also fault to the Astros. They complained about it. Like they're like, stop. Like, okay, you're all babies. You're babies. You cheated. You get it. Yeah, done for sure. Yeah. And if the Yankee fans were ruthless, Dodger fans, you gotta one up them.
I mean,
hear us out.
I mean, I think we owe it to our fellow fans to be more ruthless than the Yankee fans.
Yeah.
Can't be outdone by the Yankees. That's the worst. One of the worst things that happened to the Dodgers.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like the Yankees have 27 championships and the Dodgers have like 7. What is it now? 7. Whatever. Yeah, so
7, yeah.
on to the next round, baseball. Also shout out to John Means. Yeah, that was impressive.
Great name right there.
Perfect
even better game.
It's even like if you're not gonna get a perfect game, it's just gonna be a no-hitter. At least it should be an imperfect perfect game, because that's your title. You pitched an imperfect perfect game.
I mean, has anyone else even ever done that? I mean, I gotta believe that no one else has really ever done that. And
it's possible that someone has, but I don't know. I didn't look it up. He pitched a perfectly imperfect game.
Yes, it was perfect just the way it was.
And Sam Haggerty.
It's actually funny because we were in the middle of the game. We were actually discussing how interesting the drop third strike rule is, and we had no idea that this was even going on. And then turns out an hour later, John Means gets this perfect game where he the only base runner that he allowed was on a drop third strike. So
if it were banana ball,
it's interesting.
If it were banana ball,
then I'm sure they would have some interesting rule.
So, if you don't know banana ball, check it out. We're not going to explain it; it's too complicated. But
it's basically baseball just on steroids. It's
baseball and bananas.
Baseball just they made it actually like very entertaining. Like you should just check it out.
Yeah,
it's
for sure. Sam Haggerty, he's the one, if you don't remember, he robbed the Dodgers of a lot of hits. He was sort of the beginning of Betts' slump, honestly. I think like he robbed Betts a couple times, if I remember correctly. He reached on drop third strike, we just said, and he was caught stealing. So that's the imperfect part of the perfect game. And what else? Oh, Husker Ynoa hit a grand slam. Husker Ynoa's a pitcher.
Yes, he's a pitcher, and
he hit a grand slam. It was a good swing. Went over the fence. 4 runs. Hip hip hooray for Husker Ynoa. What else?
And that is an elite name. I mean, I would draft him on my all names team.
Yeah. I mean,
when you get the YN over there, that's just
Sheldon
beautiful.
Noisy make it on
Husker
your team?
is a great name.
Sheldon
Noisy would probably make it in the AAA squad. I mean, I don't know if he would make it on the actual team.
He could be a utility player.
I mean, yeah, there's just probably too many great names out there. But I mean, maybe he would.
Yeah.
If they would pronounce it Noose, then I would probably draft him. But Noisy is just, I don't understand how that says Noisy, but that's a different discussion.
Yeah, Noisy. We're gonna end up coming back to him every single episode. Hopefully, we can get an episode where we got you, Alex, and Dave, and me, obviously.
Yeah, hopefully
altogether,
next
because
time.
that will be even more entertaining, I believe. Stay tuned, everybody. Yeah, what else happened around baseball? Oh, Albert Pujols was released today. Albert Pujols used to be really good. No,
Used to
duh.
be amazing.
Um,
Yeah.
Albert Pujols, it'd be interesting. I saw someone said that he should sign with the Rockies to see how fast he could get to 700 and then just retire. 700 home runs. He has, I
Yeah.
think, probably 2 more years to get to 700. I forget where he's at, probably 640 or something. Or no, he's past that. 650. I don't know. I thought he should sign with the Cardinals, final act. Finish out his career
Yeah,
there.
that would be interesting.
He will get his number retired by the Angels. He hit
Yeah.
I believe like 200
I
career
mean,
home runs there.
um, he was amazing for the Angels for
The first couple of
a
years.
while.
It was a 10-year deal. Like the
Yeah.
first 4 years were very productive years. 30 home runs.
Yeah, I mean, his decline was, I mean, very surprising. He basically just fell off a cliff. But before that, he was amazing. I mean, even when he wasn't his MVP caliber, I mean, he was still really, really good player. So
And even if by chance,
crazy how quickly he dropped.
yeah, even if by chance that he does retire now, he'd have a 298 career batting average, which is solid, really good. But he's not far off from plate appearances and not getting on base or hit or whatever from getting to 297. Oh no.
I mean, you never know if he signs with the Cardinals. You never know, he
Watch
might
out,
get,
Cooperstown.
a little.
He might not be inducted.
He might get a little. Momentum and bring it up to 300 quickly also. So
Yeah.
that'd be interesting
Imagine
too.
those players in their prime on the Cardinals. Albert Pujols, Paul Goldschmidt, and Nolan Arenado. And Matt
I mean,
Carpenter also. Some couple of really good years.
yeah, that would be
They're a pretty good team.
force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
They would have a chance at beating the
Sort of
Dodgers.
like the Dodgers, I was about to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else is there around baseball? We could do our weekly. We actually didn't really do this last week. This is sort of inspired by John Boy's Weekly Dumb. Shout out to John Boy.
Yes.
He's the
Our goal is
pioneer.
to be dumber than John Boy's Weekly
Yeah.
Dumb. That's actually our
But this
life,
was a John
really.
Boy breakdown. But I thought this was pretty much. Besides for Angel Hernandez, because Angel Hernandez. By the way, everybody hates on Angel Hernandez. I subscribe. I know I followed this person on Twitter. It's not a person. It's whatever. It's an official umpire scorecard that he releases after every game. And Angel Hernandez, like Joe West, was way worse than Angel Hernandez. There was a game this year where Joe West had like at max 89% accuracy for one team, which is awful. Like to be an MLB umpire,
Yes,
you
I
have
mean,
to
that's
average over 90 or else they fire you, pretty much. And Angel Hernandez is consistently over 94. So whatever.
yeah. And the thing with a lot of these umpires is even when they're missing calls, I mean, I've seen this in a lot of games this year where like at least they've multiple umpires have consistently been calling outside pitches strikes. So at least if they do that consistently, the batters will start to realize that, and I mean it should start fouling those off more. But I mean, obviously you still want those to be called balls, but
Right.
at least if it's consistently bad, it's better than being erratically bad, I guess.
Kevin Kiermaier stole the ball from Randy Arozarena. You saw that clip?
I did not see that. That's
Basically,
what happened.
Kevin Kiermaier is a center fielder and Arozarena is a left fielder. He basically ran all the way to left field to catch a ball and try to throw out a guy at home.
I actually saw the picture of it. I didn't see the actual video, but yes, I did see the picture. That was pretty funny.
Yeah. That does it for this week. Thank you for listening. You can check us out on Twitter at blue_bleedin. Hopefully we'll be back next week. We should be back next week. I think that does it for this one. Thank you,
That's
Alex,
it.
for joining us. Season debut right here.
Thanks for having me, Phil. And see the debut. Hopefully, it's better than Bettinger's debut.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of hard
You
to
can't
beat
give up
that,
2
I
grand
guess.
salamis if you're on a podcast, I guess.
think so.
Whatever.
I think that's how it works.
Okay, we'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you for listening.
See you next time.